If you would, go ahead and share where you're from in the chat. It's always fun to see that we've got people from around the country that are interested in learning more about microbes. So wherever you are, go ahead and share your cities, your state maybe. And yeah, welcome you guys to the Wind River Microbes Dirty Talk Virtual Cannabis Summit. My name is Evan Umberger, and we're going to have some great experts who are going to be sharing insights. They're going to be sharing pictures. They're going to be sharing stories, and you're going to be able to ask questions throughout. And so I just want to encourage you, if you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, go ahead and click the link in the description. It's summit.windrivermicrobes.com. And there, make sure you have a pen and paper ready so you can be able to write down your questions. You can be able to write down what Jackie was saying with CJ, Garrett. We've got someone else is going to be joining us a little bit. And so if you've got questions, though, please ask those questions inside the summit.windrivermicrobes.com chat. And I want to encourage you guys to stay to the end. I'm going to be putting a link in the summit.windrivermicrobes.com chat. And that's going to be for basically a free microbes consultation. And so regardless of how big or small your operation is, you're going to have someone friendly, hopefully from your area, just depending on how where you're from, that someone's going to be able to reach out and just share more and help educate you on how microbes can make a difference in your growing. So without further ado, Jackie Dayberry, take it away.
Thanks, Evan. I want to welcome everybody to tonight's summit. We're kind of excited to do this. This will be the first one on cannabis that we've done. We've had one on gardening, and we've had one on pets and one on soils, and we'll have many more in the future. But like I say, we welcome you. We're excited to share what our microbes can do in cannabis, and that's both in the marijuana field and in hemp. So I'm tickled to have with me CJ Swicky, who's our national manager, one of our national managing distributors for Wind River Microbes. And then we've got a couple of his dealers on hand. That's Garrett George and Aaron Collins. And Aaron's grown both. He's grown hemp and marijuana. And then Garrett's kind of in the marijuana end of things. And so they're going to share their experiences, and we hope you enjoy it. CJ, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, Jackie. Well, thank you very much, and welcome everybody to Wind River Microbes on cannabis. We're going to be discussing different aspects of it, growing with it. We're going to hear a little bit about some auto flower experiences and a few other things. I'm going to let Garrett go ahead and introduce himself. Aaron is having a little technical difficulty. We're getting figured out. So Garrett, if you'd like to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, your farm background, just your general information on your grow and everything else.
Hi, I'm Garrett George with King George Growers here in Altus, Oklahoma. And marijuana legalization in Oklahoma has been, how long has it been legal here, guys?
What are we up to? 2 years, I think?
2 years. Well, we opened our farm and started farming and cultivating medical marijuana. And I've been using the SOILCARE product for about 2 years now. And I'm just thoroughly impressed with what it does for plants. It puts everything ahead when you use it, and it's just an amazing rate. We got seed germination with some seeds in like 3 days the other day. I was just blown away with how quick it germinated seeds.
So everybody, I want to also point out a lot of our dealers do other things as well. Is my video showing up? Okay. It didn't show up on my screen for some reason. I don't know why. So Garrett also runs a pest maintenance company, works with cannabis grows for pest control and a few other things. So a lot of our dealers do other things that can also help in the ag world. But Garrett, you're telling me, I remember talking to you when you first started growing and you were just wanting to sell with us, that one of your buddies was mentoring you was mentoring you on the grow and came out and saw what you were accomplishing with the soil care. Would you mind talking a little bit about that?
He was just thoroughly impressed with the growth rates that we were getting and just how healthy and vibrant the plants were. He said at first he was very skeptical about using any kind of new products that he wasn't used to. He was very, stuck in his ways, and he really didn't like the idea of me even using the microbes until I put some on a plant. He's seen the results. And that doesn't take very long when you use SOILCARE.
Now, I've heard a lot. It's usually within, if you've been growing for a while and really know your plants, it's usually 24 hours or so. I've had a couple people I've worked with that kept telling me, you think microbes fix everything? And I said, have you tried them like I said? And they said, no. I got a call the next morning going, what the heck is this stuff? One of the biggest things, if you're growing hydro, aquaponics, dirt, however, these microbes really work with your cannabis plants. If it's hemp or marijuana, I've gotten reports back out of Texas with some of their grows where literally the farmer said, where we put the SOILCARE down, we had production, but the plants we didn't get to, we didn't have any. And they totally attribute it to it. The real secret behind it is it's a balanced formula, and it allows your cannabis plants to use those microbes to call for on-demand feeding. So before you even see a deficiency of nitrogen or anything, those plants are signaling to those microbes, hey, you guys, I need some more nitrogen. And they bring it up into the plant. They exchange with the plant for some sugars, and they go back to work. So they talk back and forth. Garrett, I got a couple of your photos here you sent me. I'm going to go ahead and share the first one. It's a bunch of different plants here. Can everybody see that? Cool. So from what I understand, these were in what gallon pots were they?
Those were in 3-gallon pots.
Okay. So normally, I mean, I've been to a bunch of grows. I haven't seen plants that big coming out of 3-gallon pots before. Is this a normal thing? What have you heard about this?
I haven't been growing very long, but compared to pots that I've grown in, plants that I've grown in larger pots, these were hanging with those. I mean, that was better than what I expected.
Cool. I'll go ahead and switch to another one of your photos real quick. As you can see, and he's going to talk about this here in a second, you see there's a lot of frost. And I've heard this from several growers that they're getting more trichomes, more frosts, and a better odor on their weed. Garrett, what were your experiences with that?
For sure, a better odor. The terpene profile that it provides for it, or helps. I don't know how it helps with the terpenes, but it sure must, because the plants just absolutely smell incredible.
Awesome. Jackie, can you give anything on those terpenes and why the microbes would help them produce better?
I'm not a scientist. I'm not a biologist. I'm not a scientist. I could get you the answer on that if I had a discussion with our molecular biologist. But it's the same thing that it does with tomatoes and, citrus and stuff like that we put it on. For whatever reason, it really enhances those flavonoids. And like I say, I can get an answer on that, but off the cuff, no, I don't know what causes it. Other than those plants are healthy, It's I relate our microbes or SOILCARE to basically like a probiotic that you would take daily. And I know that's really not an apple to apple comparison, but in simple terms, it's probably the easiest for people to understand. And I know we'll have in the cannabis world, you've got more people that understand microbes than what you do out here in the farming world. But these microbes our formulas do not contain any lactobacillus. We found other microbes that do the job of that, plus other jobs. So, the only thing I can attribute it to is that those plants are getting what they need from your soil or hydro or whatever, and that helps increase your terpene level.
Cool. So Garrett, what levels are you using the microbes to grow with? How often are you foliar spraying, feeding, etc.?
We foliar feed twice a week, no matter what, if we need it or not, just because here in Oklahoma, we have so many pests here. we have an abnormal amount of pests here. So we try to stay ahead of the game with our IPM regiment and doing it twice a week with some repellents. And I also like putting SOILCARE in with our IPM regiment as a foliar application. I mean, it sure makes the plants improves their health quality and just makes them really grow at a rate that's just right after you apply it. You can see growth. You can just sit in there and watch them grow after applying it. On a foliar.
Can I ask a question right quick, CJ, while we've got Garrett here?
Yes.
He's talking about improving his IPM by mixing the SOILCARE with it. Garrett, it's that time of the year, like you said, that we have pests. It's also that time of the year where we have a lot of heat stress, especially in our greenhouses and outdoor. I know you run in a greenhouse, so what have you noticed? I want to see if it's the same thing I've noticed in our greenhouses with the stress levels using SOILCARE.
It sure makes a huge difference on how they handle the heat stress or any kind of stress as far as that goes. They're just little plant babysitters that just whatever that plant needs, it's going to make sure that it gets it no matter what.
Awesome. I'm going to show a photo real quick here. This is of a clone. And can everybody see that photo? I'm just checking because it's not popping up on my screen. This clone is 8 days old. This is a variety of hemp grown in hydro. What makes this special is they ran 50 of these clones at one time because I had stated, hey, it makes a slight ecosystem around the root systems, the microbes do. They'll protect it. So these clones were done in 8.2 pH water, which according to the cannabis world is almost impossible to get stuff to grow in. But yet they still managed to root in 8 days, and they had a 95% success rate with it. So it's a pretty high success rate. I'm going to see if this YouTube video I uploaded will show here in just a second. We'll talk about it a little bit because this is also, y'all are going to excuse me, the monitor's up top from me. What we're looking at here is a commercial grow in Oklahoma City. These are all their control plants. Now these clones are about 4 weeks old, 3 to 4 weeks. So you can see there's a few hundred of them. These were used with one of our competitors for their cloning stuff. See, there's quite a few of them. And we're going to see the height there and everything. These over here were treated with SOILCARE. And you can see right here is one from the other bench that the grower brought over. And this is the other one. His experience was we rooted faster and we grew faster overall, size of plants, health of plants, everything else. He actually said he had to up pot twice in the same amount of time as it took for the other one to up pot once. I see I've got Aaron here. Aaron, are you ready to talk a little bit?
As long as y'all can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. It's a little muffled, but we told everybody you're having technical difficulties. So talk a little bit about your growing, what you do, what you've experienced with microbes. I know you were buying microbes for us for hemp before you came on board to sell it as well. So just tell everybody a little bit about your experience.
There, is this a little better?
Yeah, we can hear you better. I can't see you. Oh, there you go. That's a lot better.
There, okay. Sorry. That's a lot better?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, we've been growing microbes with our, when did you sell me my first gallon, CJ?
It's been like 2.5, 3 years ago. It was during
I go to see 18 months, 24 months ago. Yeah.
Yep.
Some of the first things we saw was we treated one plant and we had using it as a control, but that was the one we tested, and things went to grew about almost 2 inches a day. And so when you start scaring 2 inches a day, and now that we're getting a little bit more into the fiber part of the world, you tell people in the fiber world that, and it's unbelievable to them. You can grow 2 inches a day. And when you start showing them pictures, they just can't believe it. But from what I've seen is, I've got a picture here. I know I do. Let me see if I can get it shared.
Which one are you looking for? I might have it.
Actually, you probably do. It's the one in me in my hemp field.
Oh, yeah.
That shows the different dates.
All right. I'm going to share this real quick for you. Make it easy.
Yep.
There you go. So what are we looking at here?
Yeah. We're looking at there on 5/11. As you can see, that's May 11th. It's thigh high, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
how tall are you?
6'5".
Okay.
So yeah, it's thigh high. That's a good 2.5 foot. So anyway, we started taking pictures then, and that's about the time we applied the microbes on there. And then you can see over to the right, 2 weeks later, it's chest high. This stuff was growing a foot a week. 6/16, that's 17 days later, it's almost head high. It's on an average of 6 foot across the field. 2 weeks later, it's 2 foot above my head. Yeah. July 14th. You see what has to happen there. I've got a machete held above my head because we've been cutting some male plants out and taking care of some weeds, just kind of storming the jungles of Korea. And it was an absolute jungle. And there was no fertilizer. And that was a very droughty year last year. From about May till August, we had 0 rain, non-irrigated.
So this is one of the things also with microbes is when your population is correct in your soil, which it's really not anywhere that's had spraying or traditional farming done on it, those microbes can reach up to 700 times the length of the root system to collect moisture and nutrients that plant needs. So it makes them very drought tolerant. It also glues soil around the root hairs themselves to hold moisture there.
And yes, I think, CJ, you do have a picture of my rye that I sent you.
Give me a second, and I will pull that up.
It's got, that rye that has the dreadlocks on it. It is insane. I've been farming for my entire life, and I've shown that picture to other people, and they cannot believe the root system is on that rye. It's a taproot of about 6-8 inches deep. Easy. It's just insane. That's the second year it's been on.
I am looking for it. I found Jackie's one of oats that looks just like yours. I could show it quick, just to give a general idea to everybody. So you can see in this photo, it looks like dreadlocks on the root hair. Nobody's ever seen roots like that on any kind of non-root zone, or non-hard pan busting crop. That's just insane. Yep.
And mine at year 2 looks just like that.
And Jackie, this is oats, isn't it?
That's correct.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. So what other experiences have you had with it, Aaron?
Well, I've got a guy that I consulted with down in Southeast Oklahoma, and he didn't know anything about it. All he knows is we can grow marijuana in Oklahoma, and he wants to try it and get out of the oil field, get out of having to do anything, and have to work hard. And he'd rather just garden. And I set him up with a totally organic soil medium, and it was some soil we got from Walmart that was $12 a bag. And we started just throwing organic garden tone, ironite, blood and bone. You just, all your organic stuff that will not make you test bad on your full panel test. And we throw the microbes at it about 3 different times. One was a light dose in the middle of veg. And he had some autoflowers that are coming out, rocking about 6 and 7 ounces a piece. He actually had a friend of his, a fellow grower. They went and looked at his grow, and he has nothing but clones.
Hey, real
And
quick, I'm going to go ahead and throw that photo up while you're talking.
you got that? Yeah, you got the
I got
picture
it
of
there.
Jorge?
Yeah.
Yes, awesome.
So there's your
Yeah.
photo.
And this is the deal. That photo right there is 2 weeks before harvest on an autoflower. And it was a 75-day autoflower, sour diesel.
And all those in the background are autoflowers as well, correct?
Yes, everything in the entire room. He had 1,000 autoflowers. And he wanted to make some quick, wanted to turn some quick cash, just like everybody does. I said, well, let's throw some autoflowers in the ground because your cloning technology at your place probably isn't really good. So let's just throw some autoflower seeds in, set the soil up for the microbes to come in, and everything with organics is slow released. When you throw the microbes in, and just like Garrett had said, or CJ said, it goes from an as needed to an on demand. And so this is his very first ever plant of marijuana he had ever grown. Right there. And he lives 5 hours from me. So it's not like I was down there able to tell him every little bitty thing he needed to be doing. He was on his own on this. He would call me and send a picture or two. And the answer to my questions was spray it with SOILCARE. He foliar fed a few of them that had a little bit of yellow leaves. So I don't know, hell, put 2 ounces in a quart and just hose it on there and let's see what happens. And that's what he did. And he's got to be, that's his new stalemate is, we don't know what's wrong. Spray it with SOILCARE, and it comes out of it.
Yep. And part of that is, so a lot of people don't know, microbes and plants live in a symbiotic relationship. So microbes won't exist without the plant. The plant can't exist without the microbes in nature. So a lot of times your problems can be fixed by putting a complete balanced microbe formula on it where they can do their jobs. Now you were telling me a little bit about the fact that he actually had somebody else come in and look at these plants because he thought you might go crazy. Tell us a little bit about that story.
Yeah, that's what I was saying was he was at the coffee shop. He's one of those guys that gets up early, and he was at the coffee shop down there in the town. And he said they was talking, and he's like, well, you got to come look at mine. So they go look at his first, the other guys. And he thought, well, this is doing all right. It's pretty good. And they're like, well, hell, let's go look at yours. And so they go up there and the guy walked in and was like, oh my gosh, these are some kind of smaller clones. What did you do? How long did you vet? He was trying to get all the information out of them he could. And he says, those are autoflowers. They're auto, what? This man's autoflowers from seed made more than that guy's clones did. And he started going, okay, I see how you built the soil. I see what you mean about everything and how you set everything up to be able to be for the microbes. And I said, yeah, that's why we set all this stuff up. I know I look crazy putting blood and bone meal in your dirt, but the microbes will actually enhance all that stuff. Instead of being slow released, we now make it rapid release because you got 75 days to go from a seed to a harvest. And these microbes will help and do it.
Awesome. So I see we got Todd on here.
Is Todd here now?
Yep, I see his name down here in the bottom left.
Great.
Yeah,
I was honestly hoping he would be here to tell this story.
How's everybody doing?
Doing good. How are you, Todd?
Oh, working. The oil field picked up. And I'm back to my day job and trying to keep my plants happy in the meantime.
Cool. Hey, your video's not showing up. Can you turn that on, or is it just too low of a bandwidth? There we go.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you now. I saw you earlier. That's why I was asking.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I just had to wash all the drilling fluid off of me.
Yep.
But, I started using the SOILCARE, and I'm a small farmer. I own Perfect View Farms here right outside of Blanchard, Oklahoma, and very, very small operation. And the problems that I would see between insects and just all the things that come with growing cannabis. Aaron started talking to me about SOILCARE and the microbial necessities that the plants have, and I started using it. This was going to be my last grow. I was going to be done with it. Hadn't been able to make a go of it. Cut and hung everything. walked into my Connex box where I was drying everything, and I just sat down and almost cried. It looked, everybody knows under grow lights, things don't always look right. They have different colors to them. They have a different shadowing to them. And I did sit down and I'm looking at them, and it looked like everything was covered in mold. And I'd seen mold before, but I'd never seen mold like this. Well, I got up, walked back in the house, took a minute to collect myself, walked back out and cut a plant down and brought it into the house under natural light. It wasn't mold. There were trichomes on the bottom sides of the leaves. Sugar leaves were covered in trichomes. The bud was covered in trichomes. The stems were covered in trichomes. This is by far the stickiest and most pain in the butt bud I've ever trimmed in 60 years. It sticks to everything. I mean, you can actually take a bud, push it against the wall, and it will stay on the wall. That's how heavy the trichomes are. Hopefully, I can move the average from 6 to 8 ounces of plant to probably 14, maybe even 16 ounces of plant. It's coming out about that right now. I'm going to see how consistent it stays between the course of 20 plants, and I'll be getting back there and letting know about it.
Cool.
But that's been my experience with the microbes.
So you like them, I'm guessing?
I love the things I was doing before, making different compost teas and whatnot to try to feed your soil. You did a whole lot of work, very little bang for the buck or for your time. This was so simple. You mix it in and you feed the plant with it. You spray it on the plant. I found that things like spider mites, aphids, and thrips, they don't like this stuff. You spray it on a plant, they go away. And I've kind of been using the microbial both at the top end of the plant and at the soil level. So it's worked out nicely.
Awesome to hear, man. We always love to hear a farmer doing good with this stuff.
Yeah, they said it was going to be work. I didn't know how much work it was going to be, but this has made life a whole lot easier.
That's what I've heard from a lot of people that make their own compost teas and stuff, because they're going after the microbes. The difference is we have spent an astronomical amount of money balancing this formula, so there's no additives to it. It is straight microbes and water. So you don't have a lot of the reactions that I've heard from growers when you're mixing it with different products and stuff and running into problems. I love it because I've actually run it through a fogger before to try that out on some plants just to get a good coverage on stuff.
That's an idea.
It's an interesting one, but you get some good coverage with it. And I've used hot foggers, cold foggers, and ultrasonic ones. We've got about 4,000 square foot of greenhouse, and we play with it as many ways as possible just to see what works, what doesn't work, what we like, what we don't. Aaron, I'm going to go back to you. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, we've actually tried some stuff. We got a hold of some cow manure from a feed yard just south of me. And cow manure is cheap. Just had to pay for trucking. We composted it. And we went from cow manure on about the middle of July to we come back in March and scattered it back out with a dozer. Mind you, this is an outdoor grow. We took 10 semi-loads. We scattered it back out with my dozer, and there was no more cow manure. It was all compost. Well, we scattered it out onto our grow and on a few select rows. And then next thing you know, whoa. Children, sorry. But anyway, we scattered it out. Next thing you know, we have plants that start getting a little bit big, and their leaves look like we started getting like 2,4-D damage or some kind of chemical burn to them. And we finally figured out it was on the rows that we put the cow manure on. And so we started doing a little research, and there's a few things that will pass through a cow and get in their feces and wind up even a year later in our soil. So remediation is either A, till it in, till it deep, B, microbes, or C, wait. We got soil care, so we went ahead and we set it down the drip lines and we fed it in on the drip tape, and then we went back through there with the fogger and we foliar fed 2 ounces per gallon on it. It was a pretty heavy dose, double dose, and they're starting to come out of it. Like, I think they're going to survive and be fine. And they're like, I've got a guy that's been growing cannabis for 4 or 5 years in different states, and he says, I can't believe it's coming out of this. He said, I'm ready to kill them and just start over. We'll figure something out. He said, there's no point in growing these. But now they're starting to come out of it. And this is literally, as of today, they have really started got a whole bunch of new growth on it. I think we have got whatever is in that cow manure that we put on and composted. And now it's coming out of it. Now they still may got potential to be some of the best that we got. So if they can even come from behind and having some kind of chemical damage and be able to produce what the rest produce, that will speak volumes, even if it just matches it. And that will be amazing that we can come in and have, because the chemicals I researched are pretty hardcore chemicals. I've been in the big ag industry for a long time. I know what they are. They're bad. These plants ought to be dead, and they're coming out of it. And so we've kind of just gone back to, like I said earlier, I'm not sure what's wrong. It looks funky. Well, does it have water? Yes. Does it have light? Yes. Put SOILCARE on it. See what happens.
I was going to say, I actually found the original photos. Here you go. Of what got you to become one of our dealers.
Yeah. These are awesome. Yeah, January 15th. This is the day we actually applied it.
No, this is your day, because I had you do measurement, give it a few days, apply it, give it a few days to give it a fair.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Because you said this on the 15th
application.
And then on the 19th, you stuck your hand by it again and said we added it.
Yep, that's right. Day of application, 19th.
And then we have the 19th to the 22nd grow rate.
Yeah, we measured that one. If you'll notice, if you'll look in those bags all around behind there, they're not near that big.
And they were planted at the same time and everything? Just
exactly planted. That whole table, there was 146 on that side. We planted the exact same morning.
So this right here is the test we like a lot of people to do. I don't want you to treat your whole grow. I mean, if you want to, that's awesome. But we usually say, hey, get with one of your local dealers, get one of our little sample bottles and try it for yourself. Because seeing is believing, and that's part of the deal. That's how most of our dealers have gotten started, especially with cannabis. They just tested it and went, oh my gosh. I got a guy that ran one of our R&D facilities, and he finally tested it at the dose. And the next morning said, I have never seen white hairs grow so fast on my plants as I did overnight using this. And he's been doing it for quite a long time, as most of the good growers have. May have not been legal, but they've been doing it for a while. So,
Right.
cool.
Let's briefly talk about organic. Our microbes are not OMRI certified, and we want to make sure that people understand that. However, they are totally organic. They're sourced from plants, soils, and animals. And just very quickly to let you know why, it's because I don't want to give our formula to the government. I mean, that's kind of the bottom line, and that's what it requires to become OMRI certified. And so we will never be, but if you are an organic farmer, say in Texas, if you're a hemp farmer and certified organic, you can contact your certifying officer, and we have had approval in Texas to have it used in organic farming. So all you have to do is request that they add it to your input list.
Yes. So if you will get with a local dealer or a dealer you want to call, and you get your OMRI officer with us, we will get them the paperwork, what they need, etc. It's a lot easier if we handle it for you, because we can tell them to look at previous files and previous people who have done it. so that they don't have to redo all of the research into our product and everything. It's cool. Well, if you guys have anything else you want to add, if not, I'm going to show a couple photos real quick and we'll call it an evening.
No, but I'd like first off to thank all of you guys for joining us, and all of the audience for joining us. We intend to change these now from monthly to every other month, just so that primarily we have a little more time to prepare, because it's busy season for all of us, because we all have farming jobs out, and some of us even other jobs outside of the microbes. So it's just a busy time of the year for all of us. So we're going to switch it to every other month. But please check out our Facebook page, our website. We're on Instagram, and keep up with us. Give us a like and share, and stay in touch with us and be a part of what we're doing.
With that, I'm going to show a couple photos from one of our places, and these are hemp. This is dating back to when we were working with the colleges. On May 20th, you can see up here is a plant. I added microbes, and I had attempted an overdose. So I put a gallon on a plant. June 20th, I was this big. By July 5th, I was out of town, and this guy was running everything for me. He gave me a call and said, your plant has fallen apart. And I said, what happened? And he said, it ripped the netting out of the wall. When that plant fell, it was 14 feet across in pretty much a 60-day period. This is just your average homeowner. They sent me this photo. These were 2 clones. They prepared the boxes of soil identical. The only difference was they dosed the one side with microbes, not the other. Those are the grams they said they got off of it. They were actually rather irritated with me because they said, if you'd have told us it was going to work this well, I would have dosed both plants. And I said, well, if you'd have dosed both plants, I would have known from a homeowner standpoint how it worked out for them. Here's some more of just different clones. You can see the root hair structure. I hear this a lot from greenhouses, not just cannabis, but flower people. They are seeing by week 2 a 30% increase in their roots, and that's due to some of the microbes we have in our formula. A 30% increase in their overall plant structure size. And I've heard from them, for instance, cloning something called Jacob's Ladder, it shaves 10 to 14 days off that process. So really having a good and balanced microbe count really helps with the environment the plant grows in. I'd like to thank all of you all for coming, and I'm going to hand everything over to Evan right now, and he will close us up. Evan, are you there?
Sure am. Well, thank you guys so much. If you would like to have just someone friendly to talk to and really learn more about your circumstance, learn more about what your operation is like, I want to encourage you to go to windrivermicrobes.com. I'm going to show you, just share my screen so you can see it. So right here, yeah, and you can be able to go to I'm a farmer, and if you scroll down, you'll see, can I talk to someone about using Wind River Microbes on my farm? And just fill out some basic information. Let us know about the size, how many acres you have, and someone will be able to get back to you. So just want to encourage you to reach out to someone local. There's another great tool that I'm going to show you right here. If you go to Find Online or Find Nearby, just want to encourage you that we've got people across the country. Just put in your zip code right here. Just search, put your city in, and it'll be able to find someone who's nearby and who can be able to help you, who can be able to look you in the eyes and walk around your operation and help you. So, yeah, I just want to encourage you to ask questions, and to if you see these guys on social media, just want to encourage you to reach out to them and to be a part of. We've got 2 groups on Facebook that are really just dynamic to be able to see other just normal people who are using Wind River Microbes. The first is the farmer and rancher community. And then the second is the home gardener and landscaper community. And so I just want to encourage you, get in both of those. And just like CJ was showing these pictures of, here's without soil care, here's with soil care, here's with, a little bit. We've got some great small sample bottles of soil care that you can be able to ask for your local dealer to get you some, and just test it out and just use it. And kind of, I love what Aaron said earlier about, like, does it need sunlight? Like, I mean, just throw some soil care on it. Let's just see. So thank you guys so much for being a part of tonight. And we look forward just to sharing more about Wind River microbes and just demystifying microbes in general. So you guys have